I'm Linda Elsegood, founder of the LDN Research Trust. It has been my honour to interview LDN researchers, prescribers, pharmacists and patients from around the world for many conditions. Thank you for joining us.
This morning we have Jane with us. Jane is originally from Australia, now lives in England. Jane uses LDN for autoimmune conditions. Thank you for joining us, Jane.
It's okay.
Could you tell us the symptoms that you are treating LDN with?
I've started having symptoms as a child, really, and I'm now in my 40s. So it's been quite a long period of time of sort of trying to identify what's been going on. And even now, there's sort of some suspicions about potential autoimmune conditions without sort of being 100% in terms of final diagnoses. But I started mainly with abdominal pain and gastrointestinal issues, but also headaches. And then as I got a bit older and I became a teenager, then I also had a lot of problems with fatigue and recurrent infections. And then I guess sort of over time I've also had rashes, allergies, a lot of problems with my sinuses, congestion, and also feeling cold all the time. Definitely that as well. But I guess sort of the main problems are sort of remain the headaches and the gastrointestinal symptoms and pain and fatigue are probably the key ones.
And how long have you been taking LDN?
For about 3 months.
A lot of doctors say that their patients notice something around the 4-month mark. Have you noticed any symptom improvements in the 3 months in which you've been taking LDN?
Definitely. I think, I did mention actually another of my symptoms, which was I kept having recurrent bladder infections and sensitivity, and I had been through a period of being on antibiotics for 5 years, and it actually was because of that actually was why I started trialling LDN. I had a friend who takes it for different autoimmune symptoms, and I think I got to the point with my specialist, Mr. Vic Kula, who deals with a lot of people with bladder complaints that are very tricky to solve, and felt that perhaps it was more inflammation driven rather than infection. I think I had infections from time to time, but I think inflammation was probably the core component behind it. And obviously LDN, in terms of the anti-inflammatory benefits, was appealing to try and pretty much actually a last resort. I tried everything else. I'd had intravenous antibiotics several times, lots of different other types of medication, and not just oral but other types of medication for my bladder, and that was really the crux, is I really wanted to get off the antibiotics, and so we decided to try LDN, and with the hope that also it might have a positive impact on the non-bladder symptoms that I had as well.
And when you first started, did you notice any side effects?
I think, the first couple of days I didn't sleep as well, but that was pretty much it. It didn't last very long.
So in terms of benefits, how long did it take before you noticed improvements in your bladder?
I would say a matter of weeks. It wasn't very long at all. I can't remember exactly, but somewhere between 2 to 4 weeks.
Bladder infections were a reoccurrence for me as well. And if people haven't experienced that, it rules your life, doesn't it? It makes you feel so ill. You're going to the toilet all the time. It's painful. It stops you from sleeping. It's awful. So to have improvements in that area alone is amazing. Have you noticed any improvements in your other symptoms?
Yes, I think definitely a lot of my problems do come back to underlying inflammation, and I'm quite convinced that LDN is making a real difference with inflammation. I mean, I think I still have some problems, though. It hasn't sort of cured everything. A lot of my symptoms are likely sort of tied to mast cell activation syndrome, as well as sort of specific antibody deficiency, and so I'm on quite a few different antihistamines as well as inflammatories, and I definitely have improved. I still find it hard to give up on thinking that there's still something, a better state that I can be in, and keep pushing on. But I definitely think that LDN has made a big difference.
Personally, LDN continued to show me further benefits for 18 months, and having only been on it 3, and you're already seeing good results, I would hope that in the coming months that you will notice further improvements.
Well, that's very exciting.
One thing I would like to ask, have you looked at your diet? Are you on a clean diet?
I have. I got to the stage, though, that I went on such a restricted diet that I actually became intolerant to basically all food. And so we decided, me and an immunologist, that I should not be quite that strict, because it was just making it very difficult to eat anything. So I certainly avoid massively high histamine foods, but I'm trying to sort of be balanced in terms of being healthy, and I think I agree that it's important to sort of challenge my body a little bit with food, but in terms of not getting back to that stage of being allergic to everything.
What about gluten? Do you avoid that?
I certainly avoid eating a lot of it. Again, I don't entirely rule it out, but I certainly don't eat it every day. And in fact, I may not even eat it every week. But I don't rule it out 100%. I think I found also with the diet previously, before going on a low histamine diet, years before I went on a gluten-free and then a dairy-free diet for a couple of years, and I found with those diets that I had an immediate, instant benefit, but then over time the symptoms would just come back, and there wasn't actually a noticeable difference in being on those restrictions. So I do find the diet stuff a bit tricky.
Well, it would be very interesting in a year's time if we interviewed you again and to see what further improvements you've had with LDN.
Yeah, and there's been also at least one benefit that was completely unexpected, and that is that I had suffered from verrucas in my feet for many years, really, really difficult to get rid of, and I'd been to the podiatrist and they tried all sorts of different things. And then again, after only being on this for a couple of months, I had about 10 really terrible, my foot could have been on a picture on Wikipedia of showing just how bad it can get, and they've just completely disappeared.
Oh, wow. And how long did that take?
Again, only sort of 2 to 3 months.
Oh, that's amazing, isn't it? I'm sure people out there who have verrucas would be interested in learning about that. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, because they are quite difficult to treat, and obviously there is an underlying immune component to them. So, it was amazing.
Thank you very much for sharing your experience with us, Jane. I really do appreciate it.
That's fine. I'm really keen. I'm sure there are millions of people out there that can be helped by LDN, so I'm keen that it becomes more widely known.
Do you have LDN experience to share? If so, please email me, linda@ldnrt.org. I look forward to hearing from you.